DNA. Dave and Adam are two of a kind, and they wanna borrow some of your day to talk into your ear holes about midi-chlorians and roller coasters. Those two things are unrelated, but so are they. They're unrelated at birth, like most people who aren't related. Unrelated at birth, but they're brothers in a brotherly way. Now it's time for the phenomenal brother and the golden voice of the South. They're brothers from different mothers, but they're both really proud to be unrelated at birth.
Well, that worked out perfectly, Adam.
Why is that, Dave?
Well, I was sitting there finishing up my game while you played the theme song, and I got all the outs I needed, and here I am.
Nice.
And now
good
I need to.
Always good when a plan comes together, isn't it?
I love it when a plan comes together. I don't have my cigar. I can't say that fully.
Oh, darn.
I'm not. This time last year, we were doing these shows where I was outside.
Oh, that's true. I should do. I was thinking there was a Flying Tigers game tonight, and I was thinking I need to see. Let's
the thrill of the fight.
Anyway, so there's nobody there. Let me finish. Can I finish?
Can I finish?
Can I finish? There's nobody there on a Tuesday, right?
Right.
So would they let me use one of the suites as recording, and you could hear in the background, now betting number 62, wouldn't that be kind of neat? That would
be kind of cool.
I'm going to reach out to them and see if we can make something happen.
I mean,
with the field as the background behind me,
I'm sure they'd say, yes, you could pay for that.
No, they give it. There's nobody sitting there. I just need an outlet and the Wi-Fi password. That's all I need.
Wi-Fi?
The Wi-Fi password.
Wi-Fi. Hey, by the way, I'm breaking my rule tonight.
What's that?
Well, remember I said no bourbon on the podcast until I go on my cruise?
Yeah.
Well, I got a really cool bottle I wanted to drink tonight. If you don't know, that's a Eddie Van Halen guitar memory of.
Yeah.
It's really cool. 120 proof, actually.
So after that, you won't be able to jump.
I mean, we ain't talking about love. I mean,
I won't make the same joke I made on Facebook.
Go ahead.
I thought it was funny. No, I said if bourbon was a sin, you'd be running with the devil.
Well, if bourbon was a sin, I wouldn't be doing it.
It sounds like something we can have if maybe we had, I don't know, maybe someone from your church and someone I knew from church a long time ago on a podcast. Maybe we can have that debate.
So do we want to give them a preview of what's coming? Okay.
Why not?
We have had both these people on the podcast before.
In fact, that's accurate.
Yeah, Matt Scudrich is going to come back, and it's either the next podcast or the one in September. We haven't got the date down right, but Matt Scudrich is going to come on, and one of the pastors from my church, Alexander Wade, just call him Wade, will come on, and we will be discussing Arminian versus Calvinism,
and evidently bourbon versus teetotal.
I mean,
while they're here, we might as well just go ahead. And...
remember, Wade saw me drinking bourbon the first time he was on. I
remember. Yeah, I remember.
Man, I didn't know you were going to partake. Why didn't I know this? So
I remember. And you are partaking. That is accurate. So while you partake of that, I'm actually going to put this up here. My dad says, what's better than a great podcast and a fresh Krispy Kreme? So a brand new Krispy Kreme opened in Lakeland today.
So you were telling us 2 weeks ago.
They closed the one that existed before that's like 5 minutes from our house, and they moved it up close to my parents. So we get there and we ordered through the app because the line wrapped around the building for the drive-through and then out into the road.
Wow.
And then the line inside switched back twice right by the big donut machine and then went out the door. So ordered online. They were ready in 7 minutes. We definitely did it the right way. But I took a dozen to my parents because they lived right there. It's nice to be able to do that now.
That's
and
very
so they're
nice.
partaking of one, and I'm also partaking of one, which, as you can tell by the little swizzle, is the cream-filled original glaze, which is.
But that's not the hot now one.
It's not. We got the hot now, but I got to get one of these because no one else will eat this but me. Therefore, I know it will be there when I need it.
You were correct. I would not eat that one. Did you warm it up?
Oh, no. It's got the cream on the inside. It wouldn't do right.
Yeah. So it would be like.
Let's test if my new mic could be used for ASMR. So I'm eating the donut now. It's very delicious. The cream is fantastic, and it's from Krispy Kreme. Oh, here we go. That was more work than it was worth, man.
Well, so Knob Creek is doing where it's actually not cork, it's plastic.
Oh, that again.
Yeah, so it doesn't make that.
You know what we need to do?
Sound.
We need to have someone call in with a random voicemail of them uncorking bourbon and see if you can guess what it is.
No, I would not be able to do that.
Sure you would. You can give it a guess. You'd be wrong 99% of the time, but the one time you got it right would be awesome.
Oh, I know. I know who we should get because I know who has the biggest bourbon collection of anybody I know. The Grease.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So Jeffrey Martin, today he learned so far that Adam is practicing to replace Joe Biden.
Yes, and I have a comment on that. Excuse me. Yes, I am. Sorry.
So so we're going to do a couple of different things.
Are we
going forward? And I guess we'll talk about this here on our pre-show before we record the podcast, because the people here are our favorite people that pay attention to us and
of course
hang out with us. We're going to do a fun show, and then every other week do a serious show. One thing that Adam and I have talked about is that we want to be able to have this podcast mean something.
Sure.
But we also want to, well, I want to get my pop culture brain going and have fun. But we do want this podcast to mean something. So we're going to have serious topics, and then the next week we'll have a fun topic. So
and to be honest, you guys can thank me for that. We had a conversation today about it, and I don't know, there's just something inside in my podcasting heart that just wants to challenge, or not really even offend, more than just kind of share a viewpoint, discuss it through, and kind of be an example that we can handle tough stuff without. What did we say today, Dave? You can enter in through a difficult topic, discuss it, and exit out through the other side and be the same good people that you were.
Yep. And that is something that tonight's going to be one of those topics where I am going to have a different opinion than a lot of people. I get it. It's a hard topic. This is going to be a hard topic to discuss. My viewpoint might be old school. It might be different.
Yep.
Adam's viewpoint might be different than yours, than Jeffrey's and Kathy. Well, we know Kathy and Virgil and Adam have the same viewpoint anyway. But am I wrong? Yeah, Brad Toon. Dave, serious? Yeah, I can be serious every now and then. Trust me. Ask my daughter and my wife. I can be serious. But the whole point of this is we are all going to come out of it together, and we're going to learn the art that should have been in place for the world. We're going to agree to disagree, but still be friends in the process.
Sorry, for those on video, I did not make that much of a mess eating a donut. My nose itched.
That's exactly it.
Sorry.
I just thought that you were anyway.
Well, you're right. And then that's the thing is, when we do talk the topic today, and I'll say this again on the podcast, there is the knee-jerk reaction There is the instinctual reaction, and then there's a contextual, less emotional reaction. And
Right.
you can talk both, and both may completely be valid. They don't have to be mutually exclusive, but one you just can't talk about the same way you can the other these days. So we're gonna sort through it, though. Believe it or not, we're going to build a bridge over these troubled waters.
Like a bridge over troubled waters. Okay. Anyway,
I didn't know what to do. Should I have bowed my head like this? I didn't know what to do. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Do you have the Twitter clip that I sent you earlier today? Said I want to talk about it.
The Twitter clip
I sent you as a text.
you did.
Doug,
Hang on,
Doug Gottlieb.
I don't know who that is.
He worked. He was a coworker of yours for a long time.
I have 65,000 coworkers, Dave. You think I know all of them by name? Oh, Doug Gottlieb. Sure, I remember that guy.
Well, he was part of the SEC network.
Oh, he wasn't a coworker then.
Yeah, he was. He worked for ESPN.
Let's see. Hang on. Where's all
reason I say
from you?
is I want to. I was going to see if you could share that for your computer and play it.
No, I can't because my computer has not caught up with all the text you sent today.
Okay. I am also going to share. Hold up.
If you send it to me again, I might be able to.
I will. We're going to have a guest here pretty soon. We're going to have somebody on to talk about it.
Who, Doug Gottlieb?
No, Hannah.
Oh, okay. Hannah. Sorry, I just think of Toy Story every time. Hannah.
But yeah, here we might not have. Actually, let me get it and I'll resend it to you.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Do you want me to play it now, or do you want me to play it during the show?
Let's play it during the show because that's
okay. All right.
Give me a second. I have to forward a call of text that I sent you earlier. Do you know how weird that is? Okay.
You know how to do that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I just did it.
Mm-hmm. Ding. Now, will my computer also ding? The world may never know. My computer doth not ding.
Oh, okay.
That's weird. Let me see if I can send it to thine self.
To thine. What are we talking to?
To myself.
To thine own self be true.
That may have a lot to do with what we're talking about.
Oh. See what I did there?
Send it to myself. Riveting Facebook video, ladies and gentlemen.
Look, we are all just sitting here hanging out talking. So that's we haven't you haven't heard and welcome everybody back into another great, exciting, and wonderful yet.
I can't even send it to myself. Let me quit iMessage and restart. One moment, please.
Can I say exciting? Because I don't know if we're going to be that exciting tonight.
This is probably going to be. It depends on what your definition of exciting is.
Okay. Ho! Hey, looky here. Whoa!
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Hey. Do you have headphones?
Where are my headphones? Daddy, have your AirPods.
Hang on, I'm working on that.
There we go.
Okay.
No,
We're doing this on the fly here.
I was literally having a discussion with my former teammates, talking about gymnastics. Actually, we have a group text because I told them I was not getting up at 6 a.m. and talking about gymnastics at 6 a.m. in the morning.
See, I'm a little disappointed in you because at 6 a.m. is when I wanted to talk to you.
Oh, I know. I saw a messenger come up. And I just saw you go, hey, I want to talk to you right now. And I went, okay, I can't. Like, something has happened. All day long, I turned off all social media. Only thing I could get was text messages from my husband. Because I said, I'm not answering it. I'm not going to look because I want to see it happen. And I want to feel like I have a control of the outcome. It's like watching a football game delayed. I used to do that all the time.
Hey, by the way, we're still echoing.
Are we still echoing? Oh, are my AirPods not connecting? Let's see. Still trying to listen back on my conversations.
It's okay. I mean, I like to hear my own voice. But
not twice. So, can you try sending me that text again, Dave?
Again?
Do it.
That's funny.
Let's see. Where am I? AirPods not picking up. I see it now. Now I'm like, wait, I couldn't hear you on there.
Oh. Yeah, still.
I see that.
Ooh.
We're live and we're doing all this on and people are seeing behind the scenes. So this is the fun part.
It's great, isn't it?
I don't know why my earpods aren't connecting. Let me try this again.
Did you send it again?
I did.
Send it again.
Are you
I
resending
did.
it to me?
Thank you.
Or are you sending it to him?
Oh my gosh. I'm getting all these notifications in my laptop now that I'm signed in. It's crazy. Hang on. It's driving me crazy.
Henry, yeah, when you mute yourself.
Let me mute it.
Yeah,
Let me mute it so I can try to get my AirPods to reconnect.
that works. Oh, the echo's gone. You only hear me once now.
Oh, it's lovely. All right, let's see. Can I get this to play?
Well, not yet. We haven't get on the podcast.
I have to
yet.
check it to make sure it can play, because if I check it, if I check it midstream, you'll put the tongue. It's not playing. Yeah. Let's see.
Like that.
How can I make it bigger? Doug Gottlieb. There we go.
That's what she said.
Stop. Stop it. Stop it. Okay, so while she's doing that, technical stuff.
Yeah. Hey, thank y'all for hanging out with us for a little bit. We're getting all this put together so we can actually go on and have a good conversation about the Olympics and about what the stress that a lot of these gymnasts are under and everything. It's gonna be fun.
All right, so you can see that. All right.
Yes, I can. Man, Doug Gottlieb looks horrible, by the way.
What?
He needs to shave.
No, he needs to go in front of the people that make him look good for the camera is what he needs.
I mean, you're not wrong.
If we all took a video of ourselves looking down into an iPhone camera like that. See, I have a ring light, nice lighting. But if I turn it off. When 900 years old you reach, look as good you will not. Doug Gottlieb, co-worker he was. Oh, I don't know.
Hannah's probably listening like, why the heck am I on this show?
She can't hear us. I don't think. Oh, she can't hear us. Yeah.
Oh, this is fun. Her husband's Phil's probably like, Hannah, what have you gotten us?
Her husband's like, next time I'm going to make you open a ticket and call a support number. Oh, either something worked or he needs a cable. I'll be right back.
Hey, we can unmute her and see if the echo's still there.
Yeah, it's still there.
It's still here.
It's still here.
And it's delayed even more.
Fun times on Unrelated at Birth.
Yeah, Hannah's like, let's retry this at 6 a.m, Dave.
I mean, that's exactly when I messaged her because I figured a gymnastics aficionado like herself would be up at 6 a.m. watching it.
Aficionado.
But oh, they had to get the wired headsets.
We're hot swapping.
Uh-oh.
Here it comes. And right click on the speaker icon, settings, audio devices. Why won't it pair with Bluetooth?
Oh boy. I like that having Hannah on is going to probably mellow the show out. It's not going to be old man rants at near as much because oh wait.
I
Oh,
can
look at
rant
that.
too, just not like an old man.
There we go.
Very true. Very true. Hey, it's
We
working.
doing it
I don't
live?
hear myself. We doing it live.
Doing it live.
See, what's funny, Adam, is Hannah actually worked the radio station with me. So she knows how I can be behind the scenes too.
Sure.
So
Sure.
Okay.
Well,
So,
I
are we
normally
gonna record-
I'm pretty fast at this. Tonight I wasn't. Sorry. Like,
Well,
but now
I
that
kind of
I'm
caught you off
now my
guard.
phone's dying.
I caught you off guard and just said, "Hey,
yeah,
you're joining.
like, hey,
Come on."
and I was like, wait, what? What time is it? Yeah, I can do that.
Normal
Sorry,
time?
my setup's not so here. I want my phone a little different, but I don't like my setup. I'm trying to get where I
all
can
good.
see y'all. Let's see. Oh, that's not right. Can y'all see me?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, there we
We're
go.
good.
How about that? There we go. Okay. Okay.
Good. Okay. All right. So, Adam. Hey, I like it. Wait.
Sorry.
I got my American flag hat on too.
Is there anything? No, nothing.
Nope.
Oh, sorry. Oh well.
You Floridians and you're non. Anyway. All right, Adam, you ready to write down what the timestamp?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Here we go.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dave. Whenever you're ready. Your Floridians are waiting.
3, 2, 1. And welcome everybody back into another great, exciting, and wonderful Unrelated at Birth. As always, you've got the one, the only, the golden voice of the South, the human jukebox, Dave Adams, coming to you live and in living color, all the way from the top of the state of Alabama. That's right, in Madison, Alabama, in the Unrelated at Birth podcast studios. And as always, I have brought along my friend, the one, the only, Adam Joseph Russell.
No location introduction? Wait.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
How to make you do the whole thing over again? Come on.
No, I'm not going to do that. But we also have another friend on, and I know her nickname. We actually have a third person with a nickname on here. Anna Mighty Mouse Martin. Can we bring back the Rick and Bubba names?
Rick and Bubba.
Well, that was pretty good.
I mean,
sorry,
I don't.
Should I have put Mighty Mouse down there at the bottom?
I mean, it might have brought some notoriety to the show, but
otherwise, no one knows who I am.
well, exactly. I mean, we do know that you're my short gymnastics friend that did gymnastics meet for Alabama.
Still, yeah, just still now involved in a different way.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I'm coaching on a floor.
So you are coaching still?
Yes. So I coach here, and I'm in Birmingham, Alabama. I'm actually coaching at the gym I grew up in from the time I was 5 until I was 18 years old before I went off to college. Moved around, coached in Southern California, coached in Middle Tennessee, and then I returned back to my roots in the spring of 2016. So I've been back a little over 5 years now, coaching in Mountain Brook Gymnastics in Mountain Brook.
Awesome. So the main reason we have you on tonight, Hannah, is I've wanted to pick your brain all day, but you wanted to wait until gymnastics came on prime time, even though the rest of the world saw what happened at 6 o'clock this morning. And you've probably stayed off of social media, but the Unrelated at Birth Facebook has been a show today, to say the least. Because I have a couple of
everything.
Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay, I have a couple of differing opinions here, and I'm hoping you will help us walk through them, because I have two warring mindsets, and Adam and I have talked about this all day today too. Adam, why don't you first talk about? Well, let's just say what happened first. So the way it came across is Simone Biles was warming up and had some troubles warming up on her vault. In fact, it looked like she mouthed the word as she did her first warm up and then rolled it. She looked like she mouthed the words, "I don't have it. This isn't going to be good." But she still persisted and went into do her routine. The end, and then she was, I guess, the second young lady to go, Hannah?
Well, no, she was the last of the U.S. girls to go out of the three.
Okay.
So the other two had already gone.
Yeah. And she was going to do one, I guess, the hardest thing you could ever do in the vault. And she gets midair, and you could see her orientation just goes. And she didn't land it. In fact, got it. I don't even remember the score, but it ends up she quit for mental reasons. Here's where my warring mindset comes, Hannah, and I this is why I want to pick your brain. These girls are under a lot of mental stress. Young ladies, I guess girls is the wrong term. These young ladies are under a lot of mental stress. We as normal lay people can't understand the stress they're getting in. Mental health is a huge issue here. But I was raised by Carrie Scrugg with a broken ankle, landing a flawless vault in the 96 Olympics. As a wrestling fan, I heard this all the time, but Kurt Angle winning the 1996 wrestling gold with a broken freaking neck. So I was raised that you don't quit no matter how hard it is. And if you want to be on the highest stage of them all and consider yourself great, you push through mental toughness, mental hardships. Hannah, I guess what I want to ask you is, what kind of pressure is this under? And am I wrong for feeling this way?
Well, I think there's a lot to digest in what happened and what felt like a very short amount of time. Simone Biles, you don't even have to know the sport to know her name, obviously.
Right.
I am very close to the sport. I coach it full time. I'm there in it. I was at Olympic trials last month. I watched her in person. I've watched her since she was a small child, kind of grow up. I think from a sports perspective, people try to go, oh, ABC it is quitting. She quit on there. Gymnastics, whether people you want to believe it or not, it is the most difficult sport to do in terms of physical abilities. Gymnastics is not something you wake up when you're 15 and you decide you want to do it and become good at it, where football's hard in a different way, but 15-year-olds can decide, I'm going to be a football player. They can make it through college. Some can go on to do NFL. Professional gymnastics, which is what the Olympic level is not done that way. And in that sport, a wrong decision mentally is a broken femur. It's a broken neck. It is paralysis. She does the hardest tricks in the world. She literally has had several skills named after her. One of the vaults, she may still compete the rest this week. She has not come out and fully withdrawn from the Olympics. As a coach, I was able to, by the way, say off the internet today, I had no idea what was happening, except something was going to happen with Simone Biles. I thought I was going to watch a catastrophic fall. That's what I was awaiting, knowing my husband's like, get off the news, don't get on anything. So I'm watching her warm-ups, and I'm watching her mouth the things you say. And from a coach's eye, I coach vault. I'm watching it going, whew, she's off. And the term we use is lost, and not knowing where she is. And I could watch the warm-ups crunch, and I'm like, this doesn't look good. However, it's Simone Biles. She'll figure it out, and high-level athletes do that. They do well with adrenaline. They do well with the unexpected, because that's how we train. Hey, be prepared for things. Make it hard. You may feel off. Once she got up high enough in the air, and what she was trying to do was a 2.5 vaults, called it Aminar. She bailed out of it, if you would, opened up really, really early. Never seen her do that, ever. I've never seen her do the wrong skill. You've even heard the commentators saying she doesn't normally do that. I honestly think she made the right decision when I think about the health of her physical health. Like, that's dangerous. It happens. Gymnasts land that wrong. That's a severed neck. It's not an ankle. And it's not a wrist. It is your head that you're going to lose. And I think, that feeling, a true panic attack. You don't know when they're going to come on. And seeing someone at her level and her ability, knowing how good she is, knowing that Team USA needed her. I think to be able to withdraw from that was actually a lot harder than people probably thought it was going to be. To be able to go, you know what, like, if I do this, I'm risking hurting myself, making the team worse. You know, she may have thought, hey, if I just replace myself, we have a better shot at this as United States, where I am not in a good place. And I think that's hard for athletes. You know, Jalen Hurts, pulling Jalen Hurts out to replace Tua, you know, you don't be able to humbly walk away and go, I can't get this job done, but can somebody else do it today?
Right.
And her thing, it wasn't just, hey, I'm scared. It was, I think, get myself hurt at that point. And, you know, I think there's a lot to digest the next few days, but watching and knowing her abilities, I don't know, I kind of feel like she did the right thing. Assuming if she had a full-blown panic attack, and those people who've experienced that, it's not just, oh my goodness, hers is, well, I'm 15 feet up and I gotta make a good decision right now. And she didn't. And she's 24. She's not a teenager. She's
Right.
done this long enough to go and knows her body. I mean, if anything, these athletes, gymnasts, are the most in tune with their bodies. And I think she went, I can't do it. And I say respectfully withdrew from that.
Well,
So
that's
let
something. Let me say real quick, Dave. That was an interesting thing I noticed. The interviews that she did since the Olympics really started, whenever they did an interview with her, she kept talking about how, I'm putting it in air quotes, old she is now. And she mentioned that specifically, that she's having more aches and pains. And I heard her say the night before, I think it was last night interview they played, where she said that she literally is at an age where she's cognizant of how difficult the trick is she's trying to pull off. And that she used to be fearless and now she doesn't feel the same way. Like, she understands fully how dangerous it is.
Yeah.
And so when you hear her say that in an interview that may have been days before this, but that's probably the mindset that she was in when this happened
well,
today, you know?
You think about, so I coach kids from 5 to 18. So one of my athletes is going to Auburn. She is going to be teammates with Suni. So Suni is one of the athletes coming and going to Auburn. So I have kids up there doing these big skills, and then I have the younger ones. The younger ones, when you're younger, you are fearless, and it can be a physical sense. It can be mentally and emotionally fearless, where they don't process what could be. And you'll see 10-year-olds do some crazy stuff, and a 16-year-old going, yeah, you don't know what that's going to turn into. And I think as an adult, and we're all parents here, we think about things that we probably weren't scared of 10 years ago. And then now being a parent, where our brain goes when fear actually takes a hold, and we process what is actually going to come of this. And I think, you know, another thing that these young ladies are battling, you don't have your families, you don't have people cheering for you. You're not like, it's different going from the Olympic trials where it was packed. You had thousands of people screaming and cheering and kind of giving you that reassurance that you need when you doubt, having your family nearby when you're doubting. They're on the other side of the world. They don't have that connection that I think you have, that that feeling of comfort. And so now you're removed from everything you know in a whole different side of the world. You're just, imagine going to a football game and no one's cheering. It's weird. It doesn't have that same effect, and adrenaline is real, and adrenaline we have the fight or flight, and sometimes we lose that battle. And I unfortunately feel that's what happened to her, and she's never had to experience that. But the stage she was on was not a normal competition setting.
Yeah. So let me ask you about this. So the rest of her team has to go the rest of the night without her, of course. And you know, Jordan, I forget her last name. Jordan Childs. Yeah, Jordan Childs. She wasn't going to do the vault.
Childs.
Yeah, exactly. See, I remember the Childs and Biles thing, and I remember she was named for Michael Jordan. That's how I remember that. And shockingly enough, right?
Yeah.
But she wasn't supposed to do anything else the rest of the night, because you know she was going to do the vault, and then Simone was going to do the rest of it. So what mind place does that put her in? I mean, she was mentally done after the vault, and now all of a sudden she has 30 seconds. She has to warm up for the bars. And to me, that would put her at a disadvantage, even though she killed it.
Yeah. So I was interested because the rules of the Olympics are different. Like obviously they're much tighter. Where in some other meet setting, they'll give you an extra 10 seconds, whatever the Olympics or not. Typically, you warm up before the TV comes on. College is similar. You warm up everything. You go back. You do what's called a touch warm up, and you get 30 seconds. Just basically re-warm them up, get through some motion. It's not a major warm up. It's just basically get your muscles kind of fired up and your mental game like ready to go. I'm not sure. Did she even get to warm up bars in the initial warm up, like earlier in the time? That was never clarified because the announcers, I think, were unsure. I'm sure they weren't paying attention at that point when they were doing the warm ups. I think what landed on Jordan, I think she was supposed to do vault and floor, but bars and beam were never a discussion. Suni was not supposed to do floor, ended up having to do that, and Suni has to go compete all around in a couple of days. But I think with Jordan, it was funny. She did good on bars and beam, the events she wasn't prepared to do, but she was, floor was supposed to be more hers. But I think it was, I think it was pretty awesome to see. Like she jumped up. She had to do all 4 events to really get there in the first place. So she doesn't not train that event. But it's not something she was planning on doing. And she handled it well. And that's where the fight or flight came in. She handled that adrenaline base very, very well. She went, okay, they need me. This is my job. She went in that good, comfort direction and not in the, the flight, and to lose that. She and Simone are teammates. They train at the same gym. So they have the same coaches. They work out together. Simone Biles actually brought Jordan back to gymnastics. Jordan wanted to quit, and Simone kind of, hey, you don't need to do that. Come train with me. And so Jordan ended up obviously making not only, getting Olympic trials and then getting selected, in the team. But I think Jordan did fantastic other than, I think floor was rough, obviously, and had those uncharacteristic mistakes right there at the end.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. We got a question here. You being a former gymnast and you being around crowds and everything, how much do crowd cheering or booing or whatever help or hurt your performance? I know you have to have a lot of concentration, especially on beam and bars. You have to be super focused. How much could that either help or hurt if there's crowd interaction?
I think it depends mostly on the athletes. Some kids learn. We practice. Sometimes we practice silent routines where can you do things when it's completely quiet? Can you do it when you don't have someone kind of giving you that verbal push? Most athletes train that way. Their coaches, we do silent beam routines. When our athletes make JO nationals, we literally stop the entire gym, no matter who's there, no matter what levels, we dead silent, and they have to compete literally hearing the beam squeak without the sound. And some kids do really well with that, and then some don't because they need that cheer. Will you cheer while I do this skill? And I do. And then there's something like, hey, I need you to be able to do this. You've got to mentally show me that you're able to walk yourself through this safely without the assistance of whether it's my voice. What if I'm not there? I had a baby postseason a few years ago, and I missed several competitions, where, kids are depending on that. Hey, I need you also to dig down deep and do that. So it does. It can be, and it can be a good thing. I think in a bigger, the exception of being everything else, you want that crowd. You want the yelling, that, the endurance you need for floor, bars, is someone screaming your name and, you can do this, you got this, and that positive affirmation. Sure, it is very heavily weighted, and it helps. And that's why, kind of going back to what I was talking about a minute ago, was they've gone from this huge Olympic trial, everybody in USA colors screaming, yelling. I mean, you could not hear in there. And I lost my voice for 5 days. And then you go to the Olympics, and now it looks like you're competing in a room, and very few people are there for you and wanting you to do well. And, some Canada, this was their first international meet in a year and a half, was the Olympic stage.
Oh, wow.
They have literally done virtual. They have not left Canada. One of their youngest athletes was 15 years old. This was her first, what's called international assignments, was the Olympic stage. You don't do that. You normally have all these other things to lead up to that. So obviously, COVID rules have been difficult, I would say, for getting in front of crowds again, and or in the U.S. case, not having someone there present for you.
Well, you talk about moving from event to event. How much of this do you think was impacted by the fact that not 2 days before you compete in the qualifying round, which is a qualifying round, and the Russians win by a point, a little over a point, and everybody's talking about, well, if Simone had only done well in this one event.
Olympic Committee.
Yeah, Russian Olympic Committee. Thank you. But, all the stories where America looks beatable, they look, someone can actually take them down. Simone Biles didn't score as well in this event, and that could have made up for a qualifying round. That didn't even really count. Everybody knew we were going to qualify. The next round is where it really matters. If you're getting that kind of criticism for something that doesn't even really count in the end, it's like beating up a football team for a score in a playoff game. You still made it to the national championship, right? And everything resets. But there was a lot of negativity. There was a lot of negativity already around what had happened then. Do you think that fed into it? Are they able to separate better than the normal person might be off the street on Twitter?
I'm really glad you kind of asked that, because I watched the opening package, the Olympic. I'm sorry, I have a 165-pound Great Dane who I don't know he got down here, and he can reach anything.
Hey, Ruger.
The initial opening, all they did was focus on Simone Biles' mistakes from opening night, all her mistakes at trials, and you start going, when that's all someone's talking about, don't talk about the big elephant in the room. Where does your brain go? And now you just have the pressure of what you were leading into, with the fact that now everyone else, all they're talking about is how much I mess up. Mm-hmm. What am I messing up on? I'm going to mess up. And so now I can tell you, in sports psychology, what we always train athletes, we don't say don't do. We always say give it a command. I am going to do well. I am going to stick this. I'm not going to fall, or don't bend your leg. We kind of shy away from that because we're trying to program your brain to go, this is what I want it to do. And hearing our broadcast from the U.S. from a former Nazi as an Olympian, they focused on that. And again, it makes for great media, but I'm like, okay, you're setting up now this, I say it just had a negative vibe around it. I don't think it was good. I think it just thought, is the U.S. beatable? Sure. Simone Biles, as much as we want to say is not a human, I think this was also very healthy in a very odd way to say that she is a human and she does have breaking points, just like we see anybody in major status. Not Bieber, Dave Chappelle,
Britney Spears,
Michael Phelps, Britney Spears. Like you can see that any not just sports, Hollywood, doctors, people. We all have that human breaking point, and Simone Biles had that happen tonight. Unfortunately, on the biggest stage of the sporting event, but I think for Russia it was Russian Olympic Committee. It gave them good vibes. Hey, we are good enough to be here. And then you had the U.S. of, we've got someone creeping on us, but we've got the hidden gem. We have Simone Biles, and I don't think she really likes that attention. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you're the GOAT. I mean, she may not want that, but when you're that good, it's just like being Nick Saban. The expectation is here, and you will always compete here. Anything less than that is unacceptable, and it is bad. It is wrong. Instead of like, hey, sometimes you lose to Auburn in 1 second because the game wasn't over, and somebody's going to back,
Really? Well, you have to bring that up?
I still haven't seen that play. I've actually never seen that play. We shut the TV off at the 50-yard line. I've still yet to see that play. But no, I think it was some edge and some nerves that I think the U.S. I think in their head they have thought it, but then it became realized and put out there, like, we are beatable, and the reality is we're humans. We are beatable, and there are people out there that the Russian Olympic Committee looked very good. I mean, they were even still a little shaky in other places, but their culture is different, and they now granted, this is the first time they won a gold in 29 years. So I was excited. I'm happy for anybody when I think about just what the Olympics are and how you get there. And what goes right or what goes wrong in the end, I think are amazing story. Do I want the U.S. to win? Yeah. Hello. This is I am very much about it, but I'm also for amazing athletes and good stories. Unfortunately, this was not. Nobody was ready for this. Nobody saw this. Yeah. You saw an injury coming, but coming to this before you ever saw the greatest female gymnast or female athlete to have this happen, and it's unfortunate.
Well, and you see it too. Just to take that to a closure, you see it too in swimming, because they love showing swimming in prime time now because it's like gymnastics. It's what America's good at. We're going to see somebody get a medal, but then when that happens, you'd see 100-meter breaststroke, 100-meter backstroke swimmers getting the silver medal, and the very first question the NBC person asks them is, "So you didn't quite make it. You got the silver. A little bittersweet. How are you feeling right now?" And it's kind of, well, I was feeling great until I walked over here and started talking to you. I'm the second best of something in the world. I mean, and immediately the media just takes it down. And I want to say that I hope that that's not a reflection of us as a population and as a country. But I think it might be.
Well, it is. The U.S., it is the, we are good at everything. We also have the resources for everything. Why shouldn't we be the best? We don't have problems that smaller countries have. Our poorest are still better off in places because we still have, whether it's, assistance from somewhere, so many things play into that, where you have other countries that they don't have those options. They don't have the resources. And so, people here, it's like we have it. We better be good. I mean, I go back to Alabama football all the time. Why aren't we the best? We have this, we have this, we have this, and it took us forever to get another coach to come in there. But why aren't we this good? And it's unfortunate, truthfully, as much as I love sports and I coach very high level gymnastics. I have athletes now going to college and colleges coming in our gym, but I also coach the 7-year-old who just wants to learn something basic, or the 18-year-old who just truly loves it. And my goal with her is I want you to go wherever your Everest is. But the United States is, if you're not good at this, one, we're going to have your career ruined. We're going to have you fired. We're going to come ask you why you weren't number one, what did you fall short from? Instead of somebody just won an Olympic silver medal, like, oh my gosh, like why are we not just enamored by that? And yes, you have, unfortunately, Michael Phelps won 8 gold medals in a row in 2008, and then that became the ridiculous bar set that was made for the rest of swimmers. Simone Biles has 90 skills named after her. Everyone must be theirs. Instead of looking at people, as anomalies, there is one Tiger Woods. There was one Michael Jordan. Doesn't mean good and great things or people won't do better, but I think it's the U.S.'s, I'd say, downfall is we forget to celebrate a silver medal victory, or we forget to go, hey, the GOATs can also have a bad day. Unfortunately, it was on the day that we don't want them to have.
And that's one thing for them. Yeah. Sorry, Dave. Let me close that. One more thing. That's one thing I would like to see is when, I can't remember, what was it, the Tunisian swimmer that they interviewed after the race because he won and he upset the whole field. They interviewed him. I would like to see us interview everybody, but it's always the American who came in 3rd or 4th or 5th. Let's talk to everybody around the world and not just be it's like they're circling the swimmer from America. Here's the guy right here. Everybody needs to watch. Now, these are the best of it in the world, all 8 of these people, and they should all be appreciated, and I just, the way they're handling the broadcast this year, everybody's talking about bad ratings. It might have something to do with that. I don't know. But anyway, go ahead.
I actually, not by choice, I was streaming the other day and I was on the Canadian broadcast following theirs. And it's so funny you brought that up. And then I'm watching, did you watch the men's triathlon? It's probably been one of my favorite stories so far.
I did, yeah.
And Norway, is that where he was from? That won.
Yeah.
this one, you're halfway through the broadcast, the guy on the bike and from Switzerland is like 3 miles ahead of everybody. Next thing you know, these runners come in, that guy's gone. And then you've got this guy in Norway in this top 3 pack. And it was this. They were talking about him, and they want to go get the camera on him at the end. I'm like, there you go. Like, celebrate, somebody from another country or see that. But it's, the US, I mean, I'm very proud where I live. I don't want to live anywhere else. We set the bar. We set the bar high. But then we can't be surprised when we set bar so high that now we have humans that can't be humans. And we can't have both. We can't have that. That's unrealistic, and it takes away from sports. What makes sports so awesome is the unpredictability of it. It is. We are not robots. We are human.
Hannah, let me ask you this, and you and I went to school for broadcasting, so we kind of had this ingrained in us at Alabama. Are us as broadcasters, I say us because we went to school for it, even though we're not in the field anymore, but are us as broadcasters,
are we still doing it?
Well, very true, very true. Are we at fault for this? Because like we were talking earlier, we won't just let people be great. We're always now looking for the next Michael Jordan, the next Bear Bryant, the next Tiger Woods, the next name a name. We're no longer saying, hey, this Simone Biles chick, she's amazing at what she does, but she's still a human. She's still a child. 24, she's still a child. Are we at fault in the media, at fault for not letting people be people?
Yeah, it's called social media. It's called,
Amen.
I need to have the best, the most likes, the most loves, the most. It is the game of the most, and I want to be the best. And it is a constant rat race that we live in. We want to be the best at our jobs. We want to be the best if we're still involved in some kind of athletic ability. My job now, as what I do in my career, I'm trying to build good people, and that is where my focus has shifted. Where when I left the media world, and I still have a love for it in a different way, but I'm also like, all right, can I grow a good person? My athletes, when they graduate now, get a senior letter from me, and it has nothing to do with gymnastics. It's literally like a 3-bullet point of what I want you to continue to do as a human being. And I hope from the sport you learned what the good human being was, and not to get caught up in the Joneses, and not being compared to everything. And I feel like I don't want it to be so simple for me to go, blaming social media. I think there's a healthy balance in that. But when you have adults who are still, the fact I could turn my phone off today and be fine, I was like, oh, we're good. I'm just not going to look at something. It really wasn't that big a deal. But when we want to be the first one to get the news story out, we want to have the best interview. We want to have the best questions. I think that's where, honestly, I love Nick Saban interviews because I look for who's trying to get the best Nick Saban question, but they really ask the dumbest question. And it's like, no, you're just trying to get something good, and really just ask the man the question you want to ask him.
Right.
But no, I just think US, it's be the first, be the best, be the one that does it, go do this first, go do that, and man, we struggle. I say as a country, we just struggle with just being mediocre.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. Can I write down really quick, Dave? What was the quote again? What's children? What are children?
24-year-olds are children.
All right. The next time we have a conversation about paying kids for football and that type of thing, I'll make sure that I remember that you said a 24-year-old is a child. All right. Thank you, sir. You may continue.
Your mic. No.
Well, isn't Dave, what are you, 58, Dave? How old are you now?
Hey. Adam is older than I am.
Hey,
shut your face.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, but I couldn't make fun of him in college about how old he was.
See,
that's very, very true. Very true. All right. So you teach these younger girls, and I'm going to contradict myself a little bit here, but
again,
hey,
you just did with the 24-year-olds being
I'm a
children. You're
journalist.
gonna do it again?
I'm a journalist and a broadcaster. I'm allowed to do it. You and I have had this conversation before, Hannah. My 7-year-old now just started gymnastics. She's watching Simone Biles on the biggest stage of them all quit. Yeah, I know we said it might not be earlier, but let's just call a spade and what it looked like optic wise, right? So she now, by the greatest of all time, has been taught it's okay if you don't get the score you want, go ahead and walk off. How do you rectify that to your 6, 7, 8-year-olds tomorrow who watched Simone Biles, the greatest of all time, walk off?
Yeah. Well, I think it's a great opportunity, actually, with young people. I talk about them about being good decision makers. Our sport requires it in instance, as in you have to make a decision. If you're upside down and you're 12 feet in the air, do you know where you are? Can you save your neck? Can you make the right decision? Because I can't make that decision for you, because you're in control of your body. You're in control of the outcome. I'm also trying to empower my athletes that this is yours, and this is not me. This is not my control. I see it from a perspective of I've got safety. She went, I am going to potentially, I think I could die doing this. That's what I mean. This isn't just a foot. She would be like, my foot's fine. She was landing vault short all night. And that's why she kept going, because from a physical, she went, I can handle that. I think from her brain going, I'm now going to do skills that I have invented that nobody else can do. And I don't think, I know it is. I think for me, I am a competitive person, but I've also watched some kids show me good decisions. Like, hey, you give me an opportunity to try one more. There's times where I'm like, hey, you're not showing me you're making good decisions. I am responsible for you, because I do in fact coach kids. They're all under 18. I have to go, you're making bad choices, but I'm going to help you from getting hurt. And so I have to be able to make that. And then there are times when they'll look at me. I know better than you. I know my body better than you. I want a kid to be able to say that in a healthy way, of course. I know I can do this one more time. Will you please let me try? And, when they can come up and verbalize, I can still do that. Sure, I give them the go ahead, because if they can tell me they're fine, they are. When a 17-year-old who been doing gymnastics probably 10 or 12 years can go, if I do this again, I'm not sure this is going to end well. And then I can go, you know what? Walk away, come back tomorrow. Sometimes they go, hey, can we dig a little deeper? And sometimes they can. They do need a push. Know that. I think our sport also has gotten a really bad reputation based on some horrible things that have happened, whether it was, some things that went on in USA Gymnastics that were very real. They're also, we need to be pushed as humans. Hey, you can do this, like the cheering we talked about. Sometimes you feel like you can't do something, but if someone cheers loud enough, sure, I'm going to get that adrenaline rush. And with younger kids, hey, did she quit, or did she make a very, very, I would say, hard decision to not be considered the GOAT? Or, I mean, she may have thought in her head, like, everybody's going to think I'm terrible. I think that was a hard decision from someone with, I say, an ego in a healthy way. Like, Simone Biles is amazing. I think it was hard to go, I've got to withdraw from this, and I've got to hand off the baton to someone else, my other teammates. So I think that was harder, because I've seen her do things where probably she shouldn't have, or she made some decisions later. I'm like, that was questionable, but she did it. And so for her to say, I've got to withdraw from this, I think it was good for little girls to see, she's not a unicorn. She is in fact a human being.
Well, I think it's, Dave, you and I were texting about, the life lesson you want to give your child to as a parent. And I think that it's a good lesson for everybody who has a child in sports, because I've seen two members of my closer immediate family on the other side both get burnt out from the sports they were playing, because it was travel ball and fall ball and spring ball, and we're going to do this clinic and that camp, and they just get burnt out on it. And I think that sports in a young person's life, if they're as talented as Simone Biles, can propel them to great things. for children who don't have it in their destiny and their future to be professional athletes, it's still good to learn teamwork, organized sports, even individual ways that you can achieve. But if you see your child just starting to not love it, finish out the season. You and I have talked about that, Dave, in the past. But you as a parent, just like you as a coach, have to keep your eyes open for those signs. And Simone Biles, being an adult, she had to carry all of that herself. And I know she probably has a great relationship with her parents. She probably talks to them a lot. But it's a little different when you get to that age and you have to carry it yourself. So what do you think, though, Hannah, about there's discussion about does she compete now in the individual events? How does she look at that? How does she look at her future after this, becoming a coach or whatever she might do? Where do you think that could lead if she decides to step back in now?
One of my level 10 athletes actually asked me that today. She's 15 and a half years old. And knowing I hadn't seen anything, what do you think will happen with Simone Biles' career? Knowing the rest of the week, I think if she feels, she's going to be evaluated. They said they're going to evaluate her by the day, which made me think, okay, she's physically in a good place, but however, they've got to make sure she's okay up here. I think she's shown us she'll make the right decision. That she was off, that if she feels good, she's going to step up. She's going to do that out. I think looking, in the future direct, I think after any major sporting event, there's got to be a short decompression time. You kind of have to unload emotionally first. I think that comes before anything. Then the physical coming down from like, all right, my body's got to recover. Last Olympics, she took a whole year off, which in gymnastics world is like a decade. And she broke a lot of rules in a good way. She showed us like you can take more time off than you need. Now you also have to work, where I think she does a great job going, hey, you can't just do what I did and then expect it to come back. Simone Biles also is a workhorse. I think today just has made her probably reevaluate, wow, like, do I still really want to put myself through these, I say, mental toughness of the sport that, as you mentioned, as you get older, that's why we have adults have more mental breakdowns than our kids do. We really internalize things more than children do.
Sure.
And, she went, oh, okay, I could have been in a bad place. I think she loves the sport. No one really, I hate when people come back at the end. Oh, I hated my whole time doing this. I'm like, I believe we have perspectives where some people just have a positive perspective on their experiences and some people just have negative, they're going to remember all the bad stuff, and I think that's a personality trait too, is being able to train your mind to glass half full, glass half empty. I wouldn't be surprised if she stayed in it and maybe became what we call an individual specialist. She doesn't continue to train all 4 events. I'm sure y'all seen the woman that was 46 years old and finally retired from gymnastics. For me, I've literally watched her my whole life, and I was emotional because no one's ever done that. But she did it on she was an event specialist. She did not, do this ridiculous amount of 4 events training. But still, what she did was phenomenal and unbelievable. I would say this mental health evaluation is going to be a big, I think, here. Physically, I think she can do it just because I'm watching her. I know the demands of it. She also has a body that, she works so hard, and she has figured out some things that I think even 100 years from now, some kids will still never be able to do what she does. I just think there are just things that she has set some limits that will be unattainable. But I would like her, just like I do any athlete at any sport, but especially mine, is to be able to walk away and love what they did, be proud of what they accomplished. Obviously, she has nothing to be ashamed about, nothing. She will go down as, the greatest female gymnast in the world, in any country, and obviously head and shoulders above any American.
Yeah, I think it's interesting you talk about loving something, and I another interview they played earlier in the Olympic broadcast before this even happened was that she felt, and you mentioned it, I think earlier, Hannah, is that she felt like she had to stay around this Olympics so that at least one of the Olympians on the gymnastics team had gone through what had happened before with the abuse and all of that, so that someone could say stop. And I can't help but wonder if she was already done with the gymnastics part, but was there to protect and ensure that nothing like that would ever happen again? And is this a culmination of not only now am I doing something that has probably maybe even been scaring me for a while now, but I didn't feel like I could step away because I have another role now that I have to play. And so it's not just a gymnast stepping on the floor. It's everything she's been dealing with behind the scenes that nobody sees and no one can even imagine what it was like to go through. When I heard her say that too, it kind of makes you think through that side of it. But
yeah, so my thought about that, Adam, is, you know, not only are we worried about her mental health, and this has to do with the mental health, could this be some PTSD of dealing? This is the first time she's been on a national or international stage since all of that unfortunate crap has come out. Could this have been some PTSD coming out, that some deep down emotions that she hasn't fully dealt with until she gets on that stage where the light shines the brightest?
Well, you know, it's when I guess in the very beginning when I talked about we don't choose when we break down. And you know, you mentioned like PTSD, what triggers something for someone. If we knew the time and place, right, people wouldn't kind of go through that. We would be able to stop those before they happen. An episode. And you know, Adam, you talked about being a protector of people, where the weight of that, just like as a parent, you're when you feel like you're taking care of something for a long time, you do, your heart is heavy, your mind is heavy, and then we do. That's why I like having a spouse. I like having someone that shares a workload with me. And maybe for her, obviously she doesn't have that. She is the one left who is still competing, doing top level things. And yeah, I think she, I think in a really, you know, what makes her another go, like someone who wants to take on some hard roles where nobody else was going to kind of put themselves in that position. And she went, I can do that. And I can do great gymnastics, and I'm going to do all those things. And as empowering as it can be, and as positive I think it was, I think both of you just kind of hit a nail on the head. Is wow, but when that comes crashing, and maybe it did, it was like, all right, I'm back here at the Olympics. You know, wow, the last time I was here, was I experiencing, you know, this feeling or knowing things that were going on in her life that maybe she wasn't public about yet. And then had again that emotional like unload of, oh my goodness. And now when your brain's that way, and from being a gymnast, not as high level as she is, but knowing when I have athletes coming in with things they're going on at home, you know, it can be divorce in our family, the death of a relative, what it does to them. You know, there's so much they can handle, and then you'll just see this, like they'll walk in, you know, and that's why I'm like, our conversations have to be open, because I need to be able to help you in the right way. I need to stay off of you the days that you don't need those pushes. You know, they'll come in, hey, I just need you to know right now, this was not a good day. I had a really bad day at school, but I want to be here and I want to be productive, whatever that means. And I can go, okay, thank you for telling me that. We're going to find something productive for you today, and for something you have in your control, you know, and that maturity that I think gymnasts possess. But for her, she went, okay, and again, who knows what she really was thinking? Will she come out later and say it? Like, here's actually what happened. I think having USAG was having to hurry and come out with a statement. Like, why is you know, Tom Forster is the Olympic and the women's coordinator. And I met him. I know who he is. He's sitting up in that stand. You can see his face, like, what is happening? And I've got to go now. You know, and Annie, the other woman that helps, you know, I've got to go make a statement. I've got to find something out quickly. You know, team doctors, hey, we're just not good here. Here's all you need to know. And I think there may be more that unravels in the next 24, 48 hours. You know, right now she's in, what time is it tomorrow? Is it 11 o'clock tomorrow? What time is it in Tokyo?
Yeah.
We're now, you know, over the night, I think we wake up tomorrow, we may hear a whole different story of what she's going through. And then I can tell her she's going to do the next day, because I guess all around competition is Thursday. I think it's already Wednesday, you know, for them. So in the next 36 hours, it'll be different.
I want to, while you're on here, Hannah, I want to go ahead and say, and this is going to be the hardest thing I've ever had to say. I want to apologize for my Facebook posts today because I came at this the wrong way. In fact, even before Ellie went to bed, I set her down, let her rewatch Simone Biles again, and I told her, honey, you don't quit. You don't do, I did the whole father don't quit spiel. But hearing how you have described it, and y'all both know how proud of a man I am. So know that what I'm about to say is tough to say. Hearing how you have described, yeah, Hannah, let me get it out.
Beat him to it. I love it.
Hearing how you have described it, I was wrong. I had the wrong mentality this whole day. I was fuming. You can ask Adam. I was fuming today hearing about Simone Biles quitting. She quit on her team. She blah, 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 blah. But the way you've described it, Hannah, I was wrong. I was wrong in my mentality. I was wrong in the way I put my thoughts. I kind of put her in my real words, in my situation. I guess I should.
Well,
that's something that I need to
that
learn.
Is what we would quit. Like I would say, like you know what I mean? Like I would be someone like, oh, I would quit. And then I think from watching just the type of level of sport she is, I think it was harder for her to. I think she would probably rather fall and break her leg than have to go. I'm going to have to make the hardest decision in my sport that I've ever had to make. And I'm going to have to do it at the worst time. I'm going to have to go walk out and face my teammates and my coaches. And it's weird because, part of me, Dave, like I'll be human with you for a second. Like, I'm watching it. I had no idea. When I heard something happened with Simone Biles, I was prepared for a severed spine, when they're like, something happened. I was not. When I literally kept it all day and I get on and I'm like, hey, oh, she's good. She landed funny. All right, maybe her ankles are hurting. They're, walking her back. They're going to evaluate her body. And she came back, I'm like, wait, what is she doing? Oh, no, she had to go to the hospital. Maybe her foot is broken. My mind went to all these places. And then it was, Simone Biles is mentally not in a good place. And I just first went, that's impossible. She doesn't know how to do that. She shouldn't have to choose, in that. And then I went, I've got to be realistic from someone who has done all these things. Is she really at such her brain was just in such a horrible place that she had to just go, I can't. And here I am. Here is my human side. You've never seen it. It does exist. By the way, United States, I'm sorry I did it today, but I think most people have just really, now that I've been able to catch up, as soon as that happened, I'm like flying through social media. What is everybody thinking about? It's like you're half a day behind. And there was some negative things that came out of it. There are some gymnasts that I don't like their positions that they use that were, gymnastics is awful and this is what it does to everybody. And I'm like, there's, that's what sports does to a lot of people. That's what fame does to a lot of people. It doesn't make it okay, but it makes us human and it makes us real. But when Ellie wakes up tomorrow, you get to go, Ellie, I had a dream last night. I had a vision and my vision changed and my perception was renewed and I just saw, and again, I think what your initial feeling was, I'd say a pretty normal sports reactor. I think if I would have been in another sport, I may have a different opinion, of course, when quarterback decides he didn't want to play. Yeah, you quit.
Yeah, that's what we've been saying all day is that, like we said on the pre-show, Hannah, there's a knee-jerk reaction, and then there's a less emotional, well-thought-out contextual reaction once you know all the facts. And sports fans are very good at the, right off the bat.
Yeah.
So can I just say, though, Dave, you brought up the point earlier about
I did. I sat there with some of my teammates, and my discussions went in a few different places. where I'm like, okay, did she do this to make a point to show like mental health is real? Like I'll take the hit, like I don't care. Like this is real and it happens, and then the reality is like this woman, went, whew, like I'm this is not going to be good.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, you brought up, who was it? You said Kurt Angle. Is that who it was? Yeah.
Kurt
and
Angle.
You bring up I can't remember her name, Carrie Strug in the 92
Carrie
Olympics.
Strug.
96 Olympics.
96.
So what
96.
does it take? 96. Yeah. What does it take to land a vault routine with a hurt leg? And what does it take to win a wrestling match with a broken neck? What does it take? What's a good term for what it takes?
Mental fortitude.
Mental fortitude. And when you're 15 feet in the air flipping around and you bail, what have you realized that you lack?
Mental fortitude.
So I think from a different view from this morning, right? I think it's clear those two things link. The physical and mental toughness are two links in the chain. And if one goes, the other goes. I said to you earlier today, I think she's even more of a GOAT for being able to raise her hand and say, if you keep me in, I'm going to cost you a shot at any medal, not just the gold, but any medal. That's where I am right now. But I know that we have teammates that could step up and do a good job, because she could have sat there and tried her best and ended up with 12s and 13s and 10s and 9s and just blown the whole thing up. And then what would everybody be saying?
Yeah.
It's like
I
when
think
LeBron's
she
a ball
really
hog, everybody
really
talks about LeBron being a ball hog, right? So anyway, go ahead, Hannah.
I think it was going to be a catch-22. It was, I stay in and I get hurt, or I withdraw and I take, I'd say the public beating. The hard thing about being the top, you're on your top, everything's great, but when you're not, you're going to get all the attention. Just like a quarterback. If the game goes great, you're the hero. The great game goes bad, you're terrible. But if you're a lineman, most of the time, you're a warm body, even though you're doing a huge job, but you're not going to get the praise. But then the flip side, you're also not going to get the hounding. Being a kicker, same thing. You're either the game winner, or we all hold our breath every time you step up to make a kick.
It's true.
Yeah. So I do have to say this, and this goes back to my original thought process. So knowing that I was wrong in this process, this is how I was thinking today. We as Alabama fans follow the Nick Saban process. The Nick Saban process is gain mental fortitude. Win the fourth quarter. You are so mentally tough that you push through any problem. That works in football. But listening to Hannah tonight, that doesn't work in gymnastics. I think that we as sports fans, and I am at fault for this. I take my football fandom and my baseball fandom and I put them in at any sport I watch. We can't do that. Gymnastics is a totally different game, pun intended, than football or baseball. And we need to realize that gymnastics is probably one of the most mental health forward sports that you could be in. So honestly, like I said earlier, I was wrong, and I want to take this time to say I was wrong.
Well, let me just say first and foremost, not being an expert in this, but having gone to enough matches in college, I could get really excited about college gymnastics. Trust me. You can ask Dave and Lindy. Gymnastics is not a game. It's an art form. Okay. First and foremost, let's get that straight right now. Second,
Fine.
If you talk about Nick Saban and the process, I submit for your discussion, Dylan Moses.
I knew you were going to bring him
whom
up.
he allowed to stay on the field the whole season, even though he had gotten hurt and was obviously scared of hurting himself again, and would literally just quit on play. So, I complained about it all year. Looking at it through this lens, you kind of appreciate that the process does have a soft spot for things like this that we are talking about, because Dylan Moses' long-term physical and mental health and approach to the game, he's now drafted or got picked up at least by the Jaguars, and he has a second chance at that. If he had been like, look, you're either going to get out there and hit somebody or you're out, which is what I was calling for. How many times did I text you that? So Dylan Moses as a person would have been impacted because some random dude thought Nick Saban should have made a different decision. So I want to remind all of us before we close out this topic that Simone Biles' mental health may be a public topic of conversation because we're all watching the Olympics and she put herself out there, but it is none of our freaking business. Not a single one of us.
Well,
So
I mean,
discussion.
I too wanted
yes.
to. I do want to text Nick Saban on a lot of decisions.
Right.
You know,
if he listened to us,
let's be real. If he got a few texts from me, there have been a few game changers. You know, but what's funny about coaches, they also, you know, like I look at the Tua situation when everybody was so mad when Tua broke his hip. You know, later in the Mississippi State game. You know what you do in sports? You push your body to a limit. An unnatural limit. And as a college coach, because these are young men, these are now young adults, you give them the decision. You hey, do you want to play? People were so mad. You know, why didn't Nick Saban put him in? Why didn't he put him in? And I felt differently as a coach. I'm like, he gave him an opportunity. If that's what he wanted to do, his point was, I want to play at my best. I don't care what it is. I will literally, men are different, of course. I will break my body, you know, for whatever it is, and I will push that pass. And as a coach, you give your kids the opportunity, young people that are 18, 28, like, you know, and we guide those decisions and, you know, well, Tua, that's what happened, but he's in the NFL. We really can't complain about that.
And I have to say this, the people on the podcast side didn't see Dave get up for his normal mid-podcast potty break, but Dave, you just quit on the podcast and you need to come back right now and use your mental toughness to push through your bladder problems and come back and finish this out like a man. Okay. I know you can hear me.
This is proof that he's old. He's old guy can't sit in your chair for an hour.
He's not a 24-year-old child anymore.
4 children. I've had children and I can sit here through a podcast, Dave. This just gives me more ammo to continue to make fun of him. No, I was actually excited to do this. He was one of the first people that I got back in touch with because I saw he reached out to me early this morning and I just didn't open it, even though he didn't say anything. Great job. You did not unveil results, but you obviously, like I have got several people I got to get back in touch with. Have you seen it yet? They were just kind of like, I'm ready to talk about this, but I was waiting on, like I said, catastrophic injury. And I think it was great. I went, whoa, this went a whole different direction and a whole different subject. And I mean, let's be real. I'm most proud that I had one of the biggest stories in the Olympics kept from me for 14 hours and I had no idea. And I was around gymnastics. I coached all day long and I walked into practice with my coffee and my hand up. I said, do not speak about the Olympics where I can hear you about anything that has happened or may happen or should happen, or you will regret this decision today. No, so I was able to keep that under wraps.
I do want to say I sat here as long as I could to not go to the restroom because I knew the minute I did, Hannah Martin would make an old man joke. And look, I reaped the unreward. I just put it. I did the softball pitch. I put it on a tee for you.
It's like Rookie of the Year. Float it. You know.
Yep.
Hannah, the funny thing was
today.
Uh-oh.
Hannah's got that.
No, I had blood drawn.
Oh.
No, I had it. Yes, I did. It's been a day. It did. I was like, man, I'm exhausted at the end of the day. That's how I ended my day. And I went, oh, I've got to stay mentally in this the rest of the night. And now I've got to just, I've got to decompress now that it's over with.
And I have to say, before we get off of this topic, it was exactly an hour into the podcast, Dave. You know how long the show lasts. You know how long it lasts.
Let me submit this for just for everybody to see. I had about that much bourbon and I've drank that much water during the show. I have to keep the golden pipes.
Can't break the seal.
Okay, here can I please really quick, when we are talking about your trip to the bathroom that happens every show, can we not say the golden pipes?
Okay.
I'm done.
I feel like
Please.
I'm in a frat house.
You are. Oh, look, Hannah, I have to put look who's watching. Nick Hoke.
Hey Nick. That would be bringing back the OGs if you got Nick on here.
If we could have Hannah and Nick on the show with me and Adam, that would be a show.
About what?
And if someone anything.
Who knows?
Anything.
Yeah. Who knows?
No. If you would like it to be, I think Nick is the great debater. Not that you're right, Nick, all the time. Let's be very clear. I think as you've gotten older as well, you have learned to concede a little bit like Dave. But Nick can go in circles with you. I've watched him. I literally put up social media statuses just for Nick to handle them for me. I can literally put it up there, and I'm just gonna walk away. And Nick goes in and he'll just. I had one come the other day. It was an old Facebook memory. He just ran away with it, and I was like, "Oh, I forgot. This was some good, 700 comment reading. It's been a few years." So pick the subject. He'll have an opinion on it.
You are not wrong with that. Speaking of subject and opinions, hey, Adam, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, Hannah.
Yeah.
Well, Hannah was about to say something.
Yeah, so I said Hannah. So I said her name.
Well, no, I joked. I said, or we can, get. I ran into Bubba Bussy. I live near him. And we keep talking about getting together for dinner, and I was going to go to the show. I actually was going to take my gymnast onto the show right after COVID started in March of 2020. And once they let people back in the show, I'm planning to go on and go visit and take some of my athletes to meet Rick and Bubba and let them embarrass me. I really don't know what's going to happen.
So Hannah, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you this. What do we have to do? How much do we have to butter you up to get an invite to get Rick and Bubba on our show?
On your show?
On my show.
Yeah. No. Well, I didn't know if you were going to say go to theirs. That's what I was saying.
No. I don't care about theirs. Just bring them here.
Stop. You can't have nothing. Are you serious? Go to theirs.
We could totally get Bubba on a Tuesday night. I think we could. I'm
going to hold you to
he's just
that.
sitting at home. His kids are all in college. He doesn't have anything to do, and
girl, stop playing.
I'm still friends with Eddie Van Adler. Eddie Van Adler and I still keep in touch. He's got a daughter now. Because I kept being like, hey, let's rematch. Let's have a sparring event. You'll still lose, and now not only will you lose, you'll lose to a mom of two in her mid-30s, and that's terrible. He has nothing to gain. He wins, he beats someone that's 4'10", or he loses and he's a loser. I mean, there's really
so you've been brushing up on your Brazilian jiu-jitsu?
Actually I train at a
really
at Spartan Fitness in Birmingham, where Eric Enders and Walt Harris train. I've started doing Muay Thai. I have not ventured into jiu-jitsu because I have one confirmed torn labrum in my hip, and probably another one, judging on what I know this feels like and having an MRI confirm it. But yeah, that was my Christmas present from my husband, because he trains there and does mixed martial arts, and now our son does jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai. I would love to get more into jiu-jitsu, I think, once I can get this surgically fixed, or I'm just going to have my leg ripped off, because I really want to do it. The mom in me that has a 2-year-old, a 6-year-old, and then I coach high-level gymnastics, I just can't afford to lay on the ground and do my job. I have to actually be physically capable of being active, and I'm not ready to just have my legs like detached just yet.
So today, I'm going to follow. We got a guy that listens and watches with us, Jeffrey Martin, who does his Today I Learned every week when we do the show. So I'm going to steal a moment from him today. Today I learned, don't mess with Hannah Martin. She could kill you.
So, and now it's just because I'm crazy and I'm a mom. I've just found a whole new level of crazy where I feel like now I think I'm invincible in the wrong ways, not in the ways of like trained martial arts. Now I'm like, oh, I get that now. And they were like, you're on a mom crazy level. And I did after my last childbirth. It was horrible. And I went, wow, I can take on anything. And no one, don't mess with me. And not because I've trained any martial arts, because childbearing is insane.
Yeah. Hey, before we end, Nick has a good question. Have we discussed Allie Reisman's comments at all? I haven't seen Allie Reisman's comments. Have you in the few moments?
No, all I know, and actually I would, if Nick is watching live and can quote or send it, someone had mentioned to me something was said from her. It was I would say it wasn't brought in big attention, so that's why I'm not really sure what the exact quote was, but where I think there was, I'd say the negative thing of gymnastics, Allie Reisman, I've just not followed her in a way that I don't really like her, but doesn't mean she can't say great and good things. But I think she's had a position of, she was part of some of the horrible things that went on. And obviously I don't disregard any of that. I believe everything that's happened. Unfortunately, I think from that, there has been no, where you've seen other gymnasts who have used their voices to help better improve. Hers has taken a course of just constant anger and blaming. And I don't know. I haven't seen her go, hey, I'm going to do this to bring this to be better. It's just, I'm just angry and mad, but I don't have anything. I don't know if you how to bring to the table. And obviously I'm not in her position. I'm not downplaying what happened to her at all, because it's never that. It's just, it was never like her voice was, women shouldn't be objectified, but then imposed nudity. And so I'm kind of I'm kind of confused. You're trying not to objectify women, but you're posing nude to not objectify women. I don't know. I just kind of felt like that was kind of controversial of what she was doing. I couldn't stand with that. And as someone who teaches young girls, I want her voice to be, hey, I don't stand with that, and here's why, but I'm going to do something better. I'm not going to pose naked and then kind of prove my point. I don't know. So yeah. It was, if someone has that quote, because I don't know what it was.
I'm looking, he his quote got, okay. But it's, okay. Yeah, U.S. Gymnastics has been an absolute disaster for years, and unfortunately, not enough has changed for us to believe in a safer future. But I think that this just really shows the lack of leadership, U.S. Gymnastics and the U.S. Olympic Committee, and then that's where it cuts off from what he said. But it goes along with what you said, Hannah. It's kind of a jilted lover. Sorry, we're delayed.
What happened years ago was different leadership. Who's leading now is not who was. Everyone, I say majority, because I can't tell you who's on an entire committee, has been removed, has been fired. Some have gone to jail. There have been repercussions. It wasn't the people who were in charge going, hey, it was whole new directors. The CEO now, she was at our conference a few weeks ago. She wasn't someone who has nothing to do with gymnastics. They literally went and hired a completely outside source. So there could be no someone dusting things under a rug or excusing behavior that I think everybody agrees. Nothing that happened is okay. And nothing that went on was acceptable or right or any of those. And for Allie, again, it's like, all right, now it's the leaders are horrible. Simone came out a few weeks ago, and she actually talked about this in an article, and I was really happy to see it, that the culture shift in our sport went from here to here. And even someone said now the coaches have no control because now it was like, now we can't reprimand, we can't discipline, we can't say something's doing something wrong. We can't, it's now you're asking young people to make decisions. And Simone was like, coaches still need, control is the wrong word, because now people associate the word control as a negative thing, when the reality is our children need direction. My 7-year-old doesn't make good decisions because he's 7.
Right.
And emotional people, we don't make good decisions. We're emotionals. Feelings are not good to make decisions on, because we don't do them for the right reason. We do them how we feel, and how we feel sometimes isn't, good. And so, I mean, I kind of, when I was talking about Allie, it was, okay, now it's the sport, everything's evil and everybody in front of her is wrong, when Simone has done nothing but talk highly about her coaches and who she has with her. And those have been wonderful coaches. And her prior coach, too, who she used to be with, has talked wonderfully about. The things she talked negatively about, those people, they're gone. They're not in her life. They're not in that sport. And I think this is now, Ellie Raisman has, she's no longer doing gymnastics. She stopped, I think, after the last Olympics. But that's where the negative light on this is going to come out, instead of people surrounding and caring for Simone. Like, hey, people weren't mad at her. They were kind of like, hey, you made the right decision. The broadcasters even said, great decision. No one in the sport of gymnastics has said this was a bad decision for you. And obviously I've gone on to say, hey, she made the right choice because the danger of it. And so I'm concerned more now, is it going to shift again, that the culture of gymnastics has just become everybody, it's negative, it's bad, it's horrible for your kids. And, it's the idea of a few bad apples can spoil, everything. But, I like to believe that majority of the people in this sport are good, just like, after the football incident at Penn State, was football coaches are bad and everybody over there is bad, instead of like, yeah, let's condemn what wrong people did. Let's get wrong people out. How do we have this not happen again? And USA Gymnastics, I have had to do more testing, more safe sport is what we are more suffer under now, like constant, just they won't even let coaches register kids for their competitions anymore. They now make it parents have to go in and do it. So there is literally removing everything from coaches, from staffing, to where no one can be in charge of that. Only the parents can literally go in, type in a kid's information, put it in. Something simple as that, something that is literally a computer program.
Oh, wow.
But where I think that, we now have what is called a safety champion in gyms, and that is my new title, is being the gym safety champion. And my role is to make sure that, complaints are handled. Whatever is going on is handled right. It goes to the right people, because I'm not an owner of the gym. I am not someone invested my money, you know what I mean? Where my involvement is like the kids, the athletes, the parents, and I don't have a secondary, where they could ever go, oh, well, she's trying to make money, trying to get those things to help alleviate things like that. But unfortunately, in the elite world, what went on, and that's all you're going to see, because, that's what, we talk to the media. That's what we're going to talk about is, the bad things that have happened in the sport, and they're real. I'm not, hopefully no one's sweeping under the rug, but tomorrow, that's what I was saying. I'm interested to see when I wake up tomorrow what comments like hers. She has a voice. She has a very powerful voice as a former 2-time Olympic medalist. But why? What is she? I want to see what are you doing positively in our sport, so that we, swing it in the right way. Do those right things. In the future. And I say our sport. I wasn't involved in that. I've nothing of that went on with me or any of my athletes, thankfully.
It's still, Hannah, it's still your sport.
I feel the world is.
Yeah. It's still your sport that you are allowed to have an opinion of. You're still actively involved in training these young women. So I don't want you to think, oh, I'm not involved. This is still your sport. And I want to applaud you for what you were doing to train the next generation of athletes that are coming up to be the next Simone Biles, to be the next Sean Johnson, to bring back an old name, to be the next Kerry Scruggs. So thank you for what you're doing for the sport.
You know what got missed today was Sean Johnson had her other baby today, and nobody probably saw that happen in the news because and I only knew that because a friend went, "Hey, you missed it, but by the way, Sean Johnson had her baby. I know you care about that stuff." And so, oh yay! Like I did. I was gonna get overshadowed, and I, have followed her pregnancy like this whole way through.
Here, let me bring back a name that you probably haven't thought of in a while. Dominique Moceanu. Let's the whole devil went down to Georgia for the '96 Olympics. Yes, one of my first crushes.
Yeah,
not going to be not ashamed to admit that.
Well, I mean, she still looks pretty good at her age. She's 40. I think she turned 40 this last year, 41. Yeah, she owns a gym. I say her, Betty Okino, Dominique Dawes, Shannon Miller, and Shannon Miller actually did the announcing of the Olympic team at trials a few weeks ago. Shannon had breast cancer years ago, but has been still plays a big role, like a good role in gymnastics. But they had her as a guest announcing at trials, and that's the first time I've seen her in person since probably the '96 Olympic year when I was 10, 11, whatever I was turning that year.
Oh, shut up!
Yeah, I could go
shut
down.
Up.
We can go down. We can go the timeline.
Yeah.
Were you around when Nadia Comaneci was in the '70s? Do you remember her?
Oh, you shut up. I knew that was coming. Anyway, Hannah, thank you so much. We do have to get on to our one segment, typical segment of the week. We do have the Virgil Ask a Question. Hannah, if you will hang around so we can talk about your gym at the end. Adam, do you have the Virgil Ask a Question for this week?
I do. Are you ready for it?
No.
Well, but you better be, because here it comes.
Hey guys, looking forward to another great podcast. But I have this week's question. Tiny charged electrons and protons, which can damage satellites and alter the ozone, have revealed some of their mysteries to scientists. Much like the Earth's atmosphere, there's a region around the Earth where our magnetic field is stronger than the sun's. This region sometimes experiences strong storms or periods of high activity. These storms can cause significant changes to the number of particles in the radiation belts and can accelerate some of them to very high speeds, making them a danger to our satellites. Knowing how many of these particles there are, as well as how fast they're moving, is very important to us, so we can make sure our satellites keep working. My question is, what is the name for this region around the Earth?
Do you know?
Is that the ozone layer?
No, close though. Not really close. It's the magnetosphere. It's higher than our expectations for Simone Biles. It's way up there. It's higher than what the bar that we've raised in Murica for our athletes. It's the magnetosphere. We better hope it stays there, or else we'll have something else to worry about.
Nope. I got nothing.
Yep.
The more you know, you've learned something. There you go.
Hannah, your son's a big space junkie, right? So you should have known that.
Yeah, he actually corrects me when I said something about a shooting star being an asteroid. He's like, a meteor, or I don't know. Like I mess it up, and he just, like I said, he's still 6. I wanted to come up here and do the Space and Rocket Center. I know with all COVID and things starting to shut down, it was just like making me sad because my husband, we like to watch the old Nickelodeon game shows. And when he was little, he's from Andalusia. He was like, I would always hear that the winner got to go to space and rocket camp. And that was something he always wanted to go do. And he's like, I never got to do that. And we joked that maybe they'll still do those things, and our son can go experience that.
Space camp is a very real thing still. I actually did it when I was in 7th grade. So you could tell Phil that I lived his dream.
Well, you wanna hear a short joke, and it's not a joke. When I was in 4th grade, my class went there on a field trip. And mind you, I'm pretty tiny now, but prior to 5th grade, I had not broken 48 inches. I mean, I was extremely tiny. And I got in line. I don't know what the name of the ride was, but I got in line and got all the way to the front. And they were like, you can go ride Journey to Jupiter, some stupid ride. And I had waited in line with my friends 45 minutes to not get to ride it. And I'm still, and I can't help it. I was probably 45 inches tall, but I was crushed. I didn't get to ride whatever it was. Don't even know if it's there anymore, but I didn't get to ride it.
I'm sure it is. Hey, just letting you know, my wife just said we have a membership. Come go with us. So if you ever want to come to Huntsville, let us know, and you can come with us, and I will try my best to not go through and say, hey, this is this and this is that, and you can go and do it at your own pace. I promise.
Okay. I that ride, I just remember it was outside, and I don't know, it went back and forth. I'm sure it was probably not that big a deal, but when I was 10, I mean, I waited, and it probably was like 20 minutes, but when you're 10, it probably felt like 3 days. But I wanted to go so badly. And then and when I met my husband, we talked about, we joked, and our son is, like, would you go to space one day? And then of course, well, if you'll go with me. And I was like, no, I hate flying, buddy. Sorry. Definitely not getting in a rocket ship, but I will watch, and I will be, that meme. It was like, I want to be Elon's Musk mom, just down on the ground, clapping, excited.
Well, Hannah, thank you so much for last minute jumping on with us. This was fun. This is not the show I had envisioned, but this is the show that we needed. So thank you so much. If you are in the Birmingham area, Hannah, tell them how they could get a hold of you and be part of the Mountain Brook gymnastics community.
Yeah. Well, we are located actually off of 459. It's actually right on the backside of Mountain Brook High School's campus, right over there, off of Liberty Park exit. And we have classes. My daughter does. We have Lois Mommy and Me's, our little tumble buddies, so 2-year-olds. We have recreation, we have Excel, and we have obviously competitive program level, 3 through 10. Really at any level, that you're considering. And then, we have kids who, come from 1 hour a week, some that come, 28 hours a week, just depends on, what level you are and what your goals are. And like I said earlier, it's, to me, I coach them all, and I coach them at, what are your dreams? I'm going to say a little ahead of you because I believe in that. But gymnastics to me has always been, part of my life. And obviously it was something I came back to the program I grew up in. I just think just with any sport, we have good things, and, sports teach us a lot about our lives, about discipline, about goal setting, about relationships, about work ethic. And I think it's something to keep for being a lost art, and what we grow up in now is, still implementing those things daily, no matter what that level is, and what that end result is challenge yourself. And I love what I do, and I love where I am. Of course,
that's awesome.
Our gym was voted Club of the Year again. This is the 3rd year in a row we were actually voted Club of the Year. So,
well,
I'm very excited.
So let me ask you this: what does it take? What would it take to get you to come to Huntsville every week and train Ellie? Because Ellie loves gymnastics, and we love our gym. But hearing how excitable
Where
you
did
are
you tell
about
me you
the
were?
sport, she's an ace. Which is really more of a cheer. It's more of a
Gotcha.
It's more of a cheerleading gymnastics school, but I think she's more interested in the sport of gymnastics. So I need you to come to Huntsville and once a week.
Well, I think you just need to bring her to me. I actually have. What's funny is one of my seniors that just graduated. She's going to Eastern Michigan to do gymnastics. Her family after she graduated, literally her parents moved back to Huntsville because she was commuting from Huntsville for a while. And she's still now making that commute until she officially heads off to Eastern Michigan. I'll just have her hop in the car with her, and I'll just have her bring Ellie to me, and I'll have her bring her back to you.
Sure, we'll work with that. My wife's watching. Amanda, you heard that, so let's deal with that and try to figure that carpool out. Adam, as we wrap up here, Hannah, thank you so much. Like I said, I know this was a very last minute thing. Thank you so much for jumping on with us. But Adam, if they want to get a hold of the show and have a hot take like I thought I was going to have today, if they want to have a hot take, what's the phone number they can call to leave a voicemail for the show?
Sure. If you have a hot take or if you want to jump on the Dave Was Wrong bandwagon yet again for another week, you can call 650-UAB-SHOW. 650-UAB-SHOW. Spell it out on your keypad. You'll hear a brief message and then a beep. Beep. Thank you, Dave. And leave that voicemail. 100% of the time we play it on the next show. So if you want to be part of it, 650-UAB-SHOW, or you can hit us up on socials. Dave, how do they do that?
So I'm at DAdams419 on both Instagram and Twitter. He is at Runtide Run on both Instagram and Twitter. The show is at Not Related Bros on Twitter and at Unrelated Birth on Instagram. Hey, Hannah, real quick, do you have an Instagram and a Twitter that you want people to follow? Or does Mountain Brook Gymnastics Club have a Twitter or Instagram you want people to follow?
We do have Instagram. What's funny is I've still never gotten Twitter. I'm never going to get Twitter. That is one piece of social media besides Snapchat. I'm not doing it, staying off of it. But yes, our gym, Mountain Brook Gymnastics, does have an Instagram page, and I do help run it. And along with our rec director. So yeah, please go follow us that. And Facebook, we have a Facebook page as well, and we keep that, I'd say, pretty updated. This week it's probably going to be a little slow because I'm trying to stay away from it. So no spoilers. I don't want to ruin anything. I want to watch. I want to feel like I'm a part of the outcome, even though I'm 14 hours behind the outcome.
There you go. There you go. Well, guys, this has been a great show. This has not been the show I thought we were going to have. And I can't thank Hannah enough for joining us super last minute. Like, we were in the middle of our intro for Facebook Live, and I said, "Hey, Hannah, jump on now. Come. Here's the link." So Hannah, thank you so much. It's very,
thank you
very,
again, and sorry for
no, go ahead.
No, I'd say I'm sorry I jumped on, and then I think it probably went a whole lot longer. I was like, I'll get on for a few minutes and we'll see how this goes. But no, I appreciate it, and obviously I listen to you guys and I check in and I laugh, and I like that. Sports are just, so laid back. I think they're intense. I think they also we bring in reality. And so I love what you guys do. I've shared it. I won my shirt. Had I been prepared, I would have put on one of my shirts I won on your broadcast last year. But I did. You have some people in SoCal following you guys now, and some people South Alabama, North Florida areas, because I'm like, hey, you should check these guys out and see what they're doing.
Well, we appreciate it, Hannah. Thank you so much. But for those that have listened to us tonight and those that have watched us live on Facebook, thank you so much. We truly love you guys. Y'all spent now coming on 2 hours listening to us. You don't know how much this means to us, just that you value our opinion to spend your Tuesday evening with us. So, guys, we will talk to y'all in 2 weeks. Adam, take them home.
Yeah, thank you guys again for giving us some of your time. We love you, but not as much as Jesus does. And remember, if there is something that you're dealing with, you do not have to do it alone. Find somebody that can help you. Find a friend, find a pastor, find someone at work, a stranger on the street. Just find somebody to be a support system for you. You don't have to go through anything alone. 650-UAB show. If you want to get a hold of one of us, leave a voicemail. We'll call you back. If that's what it takes to get you in a good place, we are here for each and every one of you and anybody that needs it. So be safe out there. Take care of one another. Be kind to one another. And we will catch you again in 2 weeks.
Bye, guys. Okay, we're still live. We can still talk. This is the fun part where we could just have fun not on the podcast. I have to go potty again.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
Okay.
So
okay. Well, I gotta go. I don't know what I got stuff to go do. Mom probably like, you got to put all our.
It's 11:30, and I'm going to stand here
and
and wait for you to go potty again.
Fine,
really?
I'll wait. But Hannah, thank you so much.
Yeah, sorry.
you-
I'm sure you probably were like, oh, I just want to talk for a minute, and then it turned into 2 hours. So
No, I was, if you hadn't have been on the show, it would have turned into me bashing Simone Biles. And I am actually, for the first time in my life, I am thankful that you showed me the error of my ways. So thanks.
And we
as
thank
long
you
as this
too,
was
Hannah.
recorded and I can like have this as proof, but I'm just kidding.
It-
No,
you know, this will
it-
yeah, this will be on Facebook and Twitter and on YouTube. So for posterity, people will say Dave was wrong. So there you go.
well, and who knows? I'm sure I'll have people who go, I don't agree with some of the things you say, and for me, we know me. I don't apologize unless I am truly
I know.
wrong, and even then,
I know.
Like my husband's like, no, you still got to work on your apology levels. But I told him, I was like, the reason I don't like apologies is I don't think people mean them a lot of times. So I'm like, if you don't mean it, just don't say it. So I'm square with that. And so I don't apologize a lot of times. I'm like, y'all are married too. I'm just like, okay, is this just what we have to do to stay married? Is we have to say we're sorry when we don't actually
Nice.
mean it?
You're
they
not
stay together
wrong. You are
longer.
not wrong.
But no, I think this was, I say, a fun topic. For me, it's not something that gets talked about a lot, and I don't really have
Yeah.
many avenues where it is like a point of discussion, except for, that's what Philip said. He's like, people care about Olympics when gymnastics is on, and and that's the only time. And then they go 4 years, they don't talk about it, and they're going to be back, again. So I do,
Yeah.
I get excited. That's why I had to like make a post about don't text me, because that's what people do. People I don't talk to for long periods of time are like, all right, I need your opinion on this, or what do you think? And so I like it. I love it. I mean, it's what I do for
I was
a
gonna
living.
say, as soon as I saw as soon as my ESPN notification came through and I flipped on the TV at 6:00 this morning, my first reaction was, what does Hannah think about it? Well, I got on Facebook and saw your post. And so I was like, oh crap, I can't go into detail. So I'm just going to say, holy crap, I need to see.
Yeah, no, Philip took my phone this morning once he saw a text from my brother-in-law. He took my phone, deleted it. Thankfully, my group of girlfriends, so my old teammates, we're in our 30s. We wanted to get together, but then we're like, yeah, we're not getting up at 6 a.m. to do this, but we'll talk about it. And, one of my friends just when I'm watching it, but she knew not to. And the other teammate that doesn't even have Facebook, she's like, is it true about Simone? And I'm like, what? Like my brain's not even going to that. I'm just like, don't tell me the winner, and it was still going on. I thought it was like 8:00. So yeah, it was still happening. There was no final result yet. And I literally went, okay, do not disturb the rest of the day. I got to do it. And Philip was like, I said, oh, you're the only person I'm texting today. If something really bad happens, call the gym. Like I'm not going to, respond in all this. And I don't know how I made it. I really don't, knowing that this was like, it was like, don't open Safari, don't open. I mean, I was afraid to open the Weather Channel. Y'all knew I'm a weather junkie. I'm like scared to check the weather. I'm like, this is going to end up somehow on weatherchannel.com. Like, because what she did was a shift in the atmosphere. I don't know. I was just waiting for it to be like, and then I was like, no, don't take that from me. So, but no, this was fun. And let me check in with Bubba. We gotta get Bubba on here a minute.
Hannah, I'm holding you to that.
I will.
I am holding you to that.
Yeah. Then I'll just call Nick Saban.
Oh yeah, of course. You've got that connection.
Yeah.
Shoot for the moon. Shoot for the magnetosphere, and you end up among the stars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
somewhere.
Yeah.
We'll find something. But you guys, thank you all again. You'll have a phenomenal night. I've got to go now. If Nick's still awake, I got to check what Nick's up to. I haven't talked to him in a while. We haven't argued about anything. So, but I was glad he hopped on tonight. And then he has to help me find Will Berry. So, Nick Hook, if you're out there listening, you got to find Will Berry. He is off the maps, and no one can find him. And
Will Berry, the last I heard was from Brian Besley. He talked to him about a year ago, and he was doing all right.
I mean, I think Will probably made it personally where I couldn't get in touch with him. He, we did more broadcasts together than I did with anybody. That's probably why he doesn't want to talk to me anymore. Good reason, I guess. We I have no idea if he moved back to Virginia or if he's living in Brazil. I mean, we're in the world's Carmen San Diego with him. That's what I feel like this has been for. I've graduated 14 years ago, whatever it was, a while back. So, all right. Well, you guys have a phenomenal night. I'm gonna go find my spouse. My kids are in bed, and my dog is laying here on the floor because he doesn't like me sitting here at my husband's desk. He's like, this
Nice.
is not where you go.
I understand.
Take care, guys.
All
Thanks,
right.
Hannah.
Thank you, Hannah. Bye.
Bye.
Vamp for a minute. I do have to go to the bathroom really quick.
Okay. Well, we're going to wrap as soon as you get back because I got to download the audio. So it's exciting to be here with everybody. There's the thumbs up, a weird thumbs up. You have weird thumbs. That's interesting. Oh, now that we've gotten off the segment, we kind of had agreed during that segment, just because of the comments from Facebook, to hold off on any comments. But I do want to talk this because maybe we can spend a couple of minutes on it. But this is for my dad. American basketball team losing to France. Yeah. I miss the days of the dream team. I really do. Let me get this set back real quick. There we go. Yeah, I miss the days of the dream team, and I'm sure Dave will have an opinion. But it is interesting to see both in basketball and soccer how the level of competition has caught up pretty quickly, especially in basketball this year. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
Oh yeah, I've got a take on that. So here's my thought is the best of the best are not playing in the games.
Yep.
LeBron said the only team he's playing for this year is the Toon Squad. And that movie was atrocious.
Shameless plug.
And really, when you want to talk about it, the best players in the NBA, besides maybe LeBron and KD and Steph Curry, who's not even playing, are international.
Yeah,
I mean, Luka Doncic is probably one of the best players in the NBA too, and he's playing for, I guess, the French team, or no, the Austrian team, and he's playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
So I think gone are the days of the '92 Dream Team, where really the best players are in the United States.
Yeah.
Since Tony Kukoc came into the NBA on the 93, 94 Bulls team, that kind of opened the floodgates for international players.
Sure.
And I think the rest of the world has caught up with the NBA and caught up with the United States. So we can't really say it. Now, granted, this is kind of the D team for the United States. This isn't the best of the best, but granted, the rest of the world has caught up.
They have, yeah.
So
absolutely, yeah.
That's kind of what we have to look at.
Yep.
So there you go. That's my take. But guys, Adam's got downloaded a long audio.
2 hours worth of it tonight.
Yeah, I said it on the show, and I'll say it here. This is not the show I thought we were going to have tonight, and I am super glad that it's not the show that I thought we were going to have, because I was wrong, and I said it on the show, and I'll say it again. I was wrong. Carrie Loney, I hope you go back and watch this. I was wrong. But that's the mentality the world has today. And I think Hannah kind of opened my eyes. I don't know about yours, Adam, but Hannah opened my eyes to a world that I'm not one. I don't know much of.
Yeah. I mean, the inner workings of it are completely different than any of us think it would really be.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
And I thought it was great. So guys, we love y'all. In 2 weeks, we'll see y'all again. Could be a serious show, could be a fun show. We don't know. We're waiting to see if our guests pan out. They've got a lot of studying to do for the next show we hope to have.
Sounds like you and me need to plan for Bill Bubba Bussy to be on the show, though, man.
Hey, I'm going to keep on Hannah. She will rue the day that she made that.
It's true. It's true.
That she made that promise. But anyway, guys, we love y'all. We will see y'all in 2 weeks. We'll talk at you later. Adam,
bye, everybody.
hit that button.